Welcome back to Icon on the Internet. Okay, so tonight I'm reacting to this video by Real Reality Gossip, and it's called A Messy Analysis of Nick the Fertilizer Canon. 8 kids plus 5 mothers. Okay. So he has 5 baby mamas. Okay. Looky here. With Nick Cannon, all I know of him is him being the ex-wife. Sorry, I mean the ex-husband of Mariah Carey, and that he has 8 different kids with 5 different women. That's all I know about this guy. Don't know what the kids' names are. Don't know when they were born. Nothing. But sorry, but this is the title of this video. Just cracks me up. Nick the Fertilizer Canon. I'm sorry, it just cracks me up. Right? Funny guy. Maybe he'll see the point to it if he ever saw this video. Well, he's got big fish to fry. What can I say? He's gonna make the money, right? Enough of that. Okay, so without further ado, we're about to get into his reaction. That title just cracks me up. Okay. There we go.
Before we get started, don't forget to grab something to eat at rrgsnacks.com. Our online concession stand that has an assortment. And if you're anything like us, you're probably puzzled. Many of our by now, you've probably noticed that Nick Cannon has 8 children by 5 different women. And if you're anything like us, you're probably puzzled. Many of our loyal viewers have asked us to make a video about the host of The Masked Singer, but every time we start doing our research, another baby is added to the mix.
Our discreet say Nick no condom Cannon. That's what they say. The fertilizer. The fertilizer.
We finally decided it was time to explore this topic in further detail.
Because they're trying to create a try.
Some research, facts, and
oh my God.
So pour yourself something to drink, bust open a bag of RRG popcorn, and let's get down to business.
Good.
Love to take you way back in time in order to pinpoint why celebrities act and behave the way that they do.
Okay, enlighten us.
In terms of Nick, he hasn't shared much about his childhood, except for the fact that his mom, Beth Hackett, was 17 and unmarried to his dad, James Cannon, when they found out she was pregnant. Nick told the Chicago Tribune his mom considered terminating the pregnancy at a San Diego clinic, but at the last minute, she reconsidered. Nick told the newspaper, "She said she was in the clinic and heard a voice. I said, yo, that was me." Nick later wrote a song called Can I Live, in which he thanks his mom for allowing him to live. The song became an anthem for pro-life organizations. Although Nick claims he wasn't trying to be pro-life or pro-choice, it's possible that his mom's decision to keep him played a role in his own decision to become a father, no matter the circumstances. Nick was born on October 8, 1980, and spent his time divided between his mom's house, his grandparents' home in San Diego, and his dad's house in Charlotte, North Carolina. His dad worked as a televangelist, and being the child of a minister had its challenges. During a 2003 interview with blackfilm.com, Nick said that as a child, he was always expected to be a goody two-shoes, and he would go out of his way to prove he wasn't a square. He added, "The preacher's kid has to be the baddest one. If everyone is smoking weed, we've got to smoke crack. If you're throwing rocks, we've got to throw bigger rocks." At his dad's house, he wasn't allowed to watch television or listen to the radio. He also said he wasn't allowed to wear, quote, cool clothes, which led to him being teased by his classmates. His grandfather was also a minister, and his aunts and uncles were heavily involved in the church. Nick said he developed a strong relationship with God at an early age, and Christian spirituality was the blueprint of his life. But his grandparents lived in a gang territory. His grandmother was the one who instilled everything in him and taught him right from wrong. So Nick never actually joined a gang. However, he told The Source magazine he hung around a lot of the gang members and started wearing certain colors and styles of clothing associated with the gang. At this point, we've already discussed two factors that could have played a role in Nick's decision to have multiple children. His mom sparing his life and refusing to go through the pregnancy termination, and Nick growing up sheltered and looking for ways to rebel from his Christian upbringing. Okay,
I
now
kinda
let's
get that.
continue. Nick graduated high school early. He headed out to Los Angeles and scored a slot as a warm-up comedian for Nickelodeon's studio audience. By 2002, he had his own program called The Nick Cannon Show, and from there, he starred in movies like Drumline and Roll Bounce. He also appeared in music videos, has hosted several shows, and even launched his own music career. After failed relationships with celebrities such as Christina Milian and Kim Kardashian,
Oh, I knew about
he
this
was
one.
ready to settle down. In
But
February
I didn't know he
2007,
dated
he met
Christina
model
Milian.
Salida Ebanks, and just 3 months later, he proposed. She said yes, and they lived happily ever after. Just kidding. 5 months after they got engaged, they called off the wedding. The following year, he started dating Mariah Carey, and after 2 months of dating, they became husband and wife in a private ceremony.
2 months.
They welcomed twins,
Hey.
Moroccan and Monroe, in April 2011. Nick told Mom.com that becoming parents brought him and Mariah closer together. In 2012, he was hospitalized for kidney failure and was eventually diagnosed with a rare form of lupus. He told Good Morning America he was handling his new lifestyle post-diagnosis by drinking 2 gallons of water a day and taking all of his proper vitamins. Nick filed for divorce from Mariah in 2014, and it took 2 more years for things to be finalized. Although there were rumors that Mariah had cheated on him with the rapper Nas, Nick squashed that allegation and told the Insider with Yahoo they had been living in separate houses for months and their problems had nothing to do with infidelity. His first shot at marriage left a sour taste in his mouth, and we think this is where things really took a turn for Nick. He told Entertainment Tonight, "I don't believe in marriage anymore. My mindset has changed. I have done that. I don't like doing things that I'm not good at. I barely survived." But not only is he not a fan of marriage, Nick doesn't believe in monogamy either. He told The Breakfast Club he doesn't subscribe to that Eurocentric concept, and he doesn't want to take ownership over anyone. And then, at the tail end of 2016, he experienced a major setback when he spent several weeks in a hospital for complications related to lupus. He also made several online posts relating to pain, depression, and how he was being labeled as crazy. The health scare really put things in perspective for Nick, and he decided it was time to live life to the fullest. During an appearance on the Howard Stern Show in February 2017, he said his recent hospitalization made him feel like he's running out of time.
I'm living life like, what did the doctor? Like die in the morning, so let's all night. Like, what did that? Yeah, right. Well, now you got a point. The doctor. Why we're
So basically, he's seizing the day, is what you're trying to tell me.
So, in addition to his upbringing and his divorce turning him off from getting remarried, Nick was also dealing with a medical issue that made him rethink his life. Things are starting to make more sense, aren't they? In 2017, Nick abruptly quit his job as the host of America's Got Talent and fired all of his longtime advisors. This was also the time when he, quote, got really into religion and was often seen wearing robes and turbans and began referring to himself as Reverend Dr. Cannon.
Reverend?
During an interview with The Breakfast Club, Nick said the clothing had religious significance. While affirming his Christian roots, he also stated he had become greatly influenced by the teachings of the Moorish Science Temple and the Nation of Islam, the same religion that allows men to have multiple wives. But Nick still wasn't interested in going the Akon route.
The income round?
And if you're clueless about
Wait,
what
what?
we're talking about, check out...
Go back.
But Nick still wasn't interested in going the Akon route. And if you're clueless about what we're talking about, check out our Akon video after
I know.
it's up here.
I know.
Okay, now back to Nick. He and his girlfriend, Brittany Hill, welcomed their son Golden in February 2017, making Nick a father of 3. In July of that year, he told ET Online he wasn't ready for love because he was still heartbroken about divorcing Mariah. He added, "I don't have a girlfriend. I'm always dating. Why not? I'm a single man. I'm supposed to date." It's unclear when he and Britney broke things off, but we do know he began dating supermodel Jessica White. He and Jessica briefly broke up, but ended up reconciling, and Jessica told Hollywood Unlocked that by 2020, she was living in Nick's house and they were expecting a baby. In early June 2020, Jessica lost the baby. She told Hollywood Unlocked that she and Nick were preparing to start IVF treatments when she got the shock of her life. While scrolling on Instagram, she found out Britney was pregnant again, and Nick was the daddy.
You are the father.
The baby was reportedly conceived during his and Jessica's brief breakup. Jessica said that while Nick kept the pregnancy from her, Britney knew about everything that was going on. Jessica said she was aware that I just had a miscarriage 2 weeks prior to her news coming out because he told me that he told her. Despite being publicly embarrassed and people calling Jessica a homewrecker, Jessica still wanted to work things out with Nick. However, she said Nick's ultimate betrayal was his refusal to publicly defend her from critics following the news of Britney's pregnancy. So they went their separate ways. We believe that at this point, Nick stopped with the messiness and was more upfront with the women in his life. From this point forward, none of his baby mothers spoke out negatively about him, which leads us to believe there's some kind of agreement in place and they all know exactly what they're getting themselves into. We can't confirm this though, it's only a theory. Britney and Nick announced the birth of their daughter, powerful Queen Canon, in December 2020. Then, in June 2021, he welcomed a set of twins, Zion and Zillion, with Abby De La Rose. A week later, he and model Alyssa Scott welcomed their son, Zen. In case you lost count, we're up to 7 children by 4 different women. In October 2021, Nick revealed that after welcoming his 4th child in less than a year, he had a conversation with his therapist and decided to practice celibacy. Instead of keeping his decision to himself, he made a public announcement. Some people gave him props for his decision, while others thought he was full of it. Sadly, in December 2021, at the age of 5 months, his 7th child, Zen, passed away due to a brain tumor.
That's sad.
Less than
Really
2 months later, on January 29th, 2022, Nick was pictured at a gender reveal party with model Bree Tacy, the ex-wife of football player Johnny Manziel. Based on the size of Bree's baby bump, baby number 8 was conceived prior to Zen's passing. This led to online users hurling insults at Nick for moving on so quickly. A few days later, Nick was back on his talk show and apologizing for failing to, quote, protect and respect the privacy of the mothers of all my children.
I promised the mothers of my children, I promised my family that I would do better and continue to be more understanding, caring, compassionate, like they often show me each and every day through these processes.
He also explained he was still grieving the loss of Zen while also celebrating the impending birth of his new baby.
I used to think about saving money and I would think, okay, what are all the things I have to cut out? But with Plum, it's so simple.
And what about his vow of celibacy?
Please break that.
Nick said he started his celibacy journey after he found out about Bree's pregnancy. But it's unclear if he's still resisting his urges or if he's fallen off the wagon. So what does Nick's family think about his lifestyle? Well, his dad told the Sun website that children were a blessing. His dad added, I teach my son, make as much money as you can and have as many children as you can. As for Nick, he made it clear during a July 2021 chat on his Power 106 radio show that none of his children were accidents. He also admitted there were a lot of people he could have gotten pregnant, but he didn't.
Okay.
Now let's get down to the facts. Studies conducted by the National Center for Health Statistics showed that in 1980, 18% of children were born to unmarried mothers. In 1995, it increased to 32%, and as of 2019, the figure has hit 40%. And what's the cause of this? According to an analysis of out-of-wedlock births in the United States conducted by Brookings, a change in attitudes toward intimacy could be the reason. Before 1970, the public embarrassment of unwed motherhood was so great that few women were willing to bear children outside of marriage. The only circumstance that would cause women to engage in intimate activities was a promise of the man marrying them in the event of pregnancy, commonly known as a shotgun marriage. As the years passed and people became more liberal with their bodies, the custom of shotgun marriages began to disappear, which of course led to more unwed parents. In the late 1960s and very early 1970s, contraceptives became more widely available. This also became known as the reproductive technology shock. The increased availability of contraceptives and termination options meant intimacy became increasingly expected in premarital relationships. And as the stigma of unwed parenthood has declined, men like Nick and the women he has impregnated are no longer shamed for it. We're aware the blame can't be solely placed on the man or the women because, as we know, it takes two to tango. But one has to wonder why a woman would knowingly get involved with someone like Nick, right? While chatting with a man named Jay Williams, who had fathered 34 children with 17 women, TV host Iyanla Van Zandt asked several of his exes the million-dollar question. Why didn't they protect themselves in those situations? One woman simply answered, "I was holding on to the promise." Let's put the money situation aside because as much as Nick stays with the job, we're sure he can afford as many children as he wants. But is he able to be physically and emotionally present in their lives?
Yeah. What's this say? Yeah. Touch your nose. Touch your nose.
Aww.
Well, according to research, having multiple children with multiple women doesn't necessarily mean Nick won't play an active role in their lives. In a parenting study conducted by New America, it was concluded that the majority of black fathers are shown to be highly involved in caring for and raising their young children on a daily basis, more so than their white counterparts. From his mom deciding to forego the pregnancy termination, to his strict upbringing, to his views on monogamy, to him believing he's running out of time, we now have a pretty good understanding of why Nick is choosing this path of life. Since we don't know him personally, it's hard to decipher what's really going on in his mind. Nonetheless, we think we did a good job peeling back all the layers on this topic. Don't you agree?
Damn. Look, that's what happens when you are raised in a very strict upbringing, like quite early on. The kids tend to rebel like later on in life. Whether it's the teen years or the adult years, they rebel. Trust me, I know. A friend of mine, not gonna name names, but they were raised in a strict household and now they're out here being a thought. Being a thought bucket. I'm not judging them for it. I'm not gonna. I'm just like be free, be you, do what you want. You know what I mean? You're an adult, do what you want. Wow. But that's just my opinion on that. The video was quite insightful. At the end of the day, right? You make all this money. You spend all your time making this money to make your loved ones happy when really all they wanted was your time. Some people get it, some people don't. Trust me, I know. Some people in my personal life didn't get it. But that's life, eh? Right, so that's it for this video. Like, subscribe if you want. I post if whenever I feel like it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!